Welcome, everyone, to this session of Authors in Conversation. I'm speaking to April Ballestero today about her wonderful book, Slaying the Onion, which is now out in its second edition. And I had the blessing of working with April very early in the piece to help her tease out her ideas for the first book and to get those ideas in a shape that she was able to then attract a publisher. So, April, wonderful to be able to hear about all of the things that you're doing with your business. So, I'm going to pretty much leave the stage to you and be guided by you. So, welcome everyone and welcome April.
Jane, you have always been a gift. I tell many people, because I work in the business community, that you did a fabulous job of reaching out to me and truly uncovering that I had a message that I wanted to share. And I thought about a book for so long. And through our conversations, we discovered that I was attempting to write one too many books at the same time to begin with, which I'm sure you've never had any other authors have that challenge.
I've
Then
had plenty of authors have that challenge, actually. Yes.
I had a feeling. And so, through our discoveries and our conversations, I had a light bulb moment, which, as you know, is why we have our name of our company, which originally started as One Light Ahead, now One Light Academy. One Light Ahead stays in my name because we take a tool from the book, which is behind me in the screen, and we actually deliver in-person retreats and we walk people through the labyrinth and the whole and brave experience, which is part of the book. So we can dive into any aspects of that you want to dive into. A couple of things for your community to know is that because you reached out, you took initiative on a platform that is relatively simple and chose to say, hey, I can help. And you did a fabulous job of opening the door. And I want to thank you for that first and foremost.
Oh, and thank you for going the whole mile, though, and finishing the book, because this is a book that can change people's lives, April, and we both know that. But you know what? I think you've raised a bit of curiosity now about the model behind you. Would you tell us more
Yes.
about that? Yes.
Well, and here's the exciting thing through the journey that when we started on the first book, I discovered a publisher at a writing conference. Totally recommend attending writing conferences. I discovered my first publisher and we wrote the first book. And then I went back to that same writing conference and went through a editing manuscript class, a full 4 sessions class. And I met my next publisher and she helped me discover opportunities we missed, and so we restructured the book, added another 25% to the book, which caused a second edition. And we set up some framework so that chapter 1 is the awareness of the radar system, the life wheel, how people discover where they are and where they want to be. And then chapter 2, they go into the whole perspective, which is the 8WHOLE. And I'll go back to that in a minute. And then chapter 3, we talk about the gel cells. And then chapter 4, we go into the brave perspective, which is the BRAVE. And then we talk about the labyrinth and the building bridges. And as my publisher would say, there's absolutely no fat in this book. It is all meat and potatoes. It is intense. Chapter 2 is our biggest chapter. And when we actually now, over the past few years, I've been inviting people to integrate a thinking pattern tool I call self-leadership, actually through the Axiogenics material. And we walk them through discovering what thought patterns are serving them, what thought patterns are actually holding them in those jail cells. And then they come to me in a personal retreat and they walk through this labyrinth. They physically walk with others through the labyrinth to discover how they're communicating, how they're leading, how they're building teams, what the challenges in the process. And then they go back to their day-to-day routine and we do another 4 weeks verifying and cementing what they learned and then finishing up that self-leadership program so they can build new muscles, build new habits, and be purposeful about how they live out the whole and brave. That's a lot said there.
That is beautiful, though, because that piece about cementing what's been learned is often the missing piece. And people will initially think, oh, I've got this. Yes, it's great. But spreading it out the way you do it as well, I think just makes a lot of sense because you understand it's the neuroplasticity. We can't
Yes.
change our habits overnight. and
Mm.
deliberate practice. You're an expert in this, so, well done. I love the way everything has transpired here and developed and even more powerful than before.
It has grown as in everything. And when we've decided to do the planner, we took quotes out of the Slay and the Onion book, put them in an undated planner. So when a client signs up with us, we send them the book, we send them the planner, and we walk them through it so they can record the growth. They can see the development. They actually measure, and the quotes are reminding them where they are. We teach about internal and external perspectives, what's happening within your mind, within your heart, and what you are presenting and expressing to others as well. So
Mm,
there's all sorts of pieces to this puzzle, literally.
great. And you would have also opened the door to curiosity about chapter 2. Tell us more about chapter 2, April.
Well, chapter 2 is the uncovering of how the whole and brave came about and the discovery. And you've been through the exercises, and I remember
Mhm.
you thinking, what
I
is
have.
this? How
Yeah.
does this work? And how did you uncover? So, what we literally do is ask people very simple questions, and they don't realize that it's helping them uncover that neuroplasticity of unpeeling the onion without them feeling like I'm chiseling or sawing or chopping the onion with them. And it
Mm.
helps them just start putting some words and phrase. And more often than not, most people, one young lady, she bought the book through LinkedIn. She saw a post about it. She bought the book. She called me up after she got to chapter 2 and did the exercises. And she said, "You're my coach. Let's get to work." And she's one of our testimonials on YouTube, and says her life has changed. She's living the life she wants to live. And it was through that process. It was a pretty amazing journey for her. And it
Mm.
helped her. And one of the questions we get asked at the retreat is, how do I sustain this? And I still, to this day, live out all of the material in the book and do the exercises. So I do the whole and brave exercises regularly. I walk other people through the exercises, and we peel away. And just because we're constantly unpeeling another layer,
Mm.
it as we grow and as we evolve, that layer continues.
It certainly does, yes. And just to go back to something really important you said about somebody saw your book or you posting about the book on LinkedIn, and that book essentially built a bridge between someone who became a client and you. And that
Mhm.
bridge is important because we can build trust with a book.
Yes.
And some people are not brave enough initially. If this is somebody's first experience of coaching, it's actually quite a brave step to go, okay, I'm going to open myself up and a coach will help me to do that. Well, a coach will certainly help you to do that, and a coach like April for sure. But
Thank you.
if you get to read a book first and get a bit of a handle on it, and the way you've written the book, of course, it does build trust. And it's important in our books to be conscious about who is the book for and what do they need to hear to feel confident about the fact that they can make the kind of change that you're offering, and that in effect, you're the person who can help them. So then with the book, no point having it on your own bookshelf and having it on Amazon and thinking, well, that will get to the people who need to see it. It doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. We are the face of the book. People care more about who the author is than what the book looks like. What the book looks like matters because covers can be quite compelling. However, it's who the author is that can sell the book and what the author talks about and their profile on LinkedIn and other places. So I just wanted to point that out for my audience, April, and they're often people who may be on the fence about writing a book. And of course, I want them off the fence because it can make such a big difference for coaches and consultants and people like yourself.
It gives people an introduction to you. And so a couple of things that we've learned along the way, and it's always good to get your message out. One of the lessons you learn is some people aren't quite ready for the things that you're digging into. I cannot tell you how many people say they get to chapter 2 and they put the book down and they're not ready yet, or they'll read the whole book and not do any of the exercises.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where they're at. So the opportunity for us to continue to express and share, communicate, social media, YouTube videos, all the different things are ways to help invite them to say, you don't have to be completely ready. Give
Mm,
yourself permission to walk through it, and that's what caused us to write the planner. That's what's causing us to write the next book, because we wanna help people understand the path to get there, because it is a deep dive. This book, and for some of us, one of the things I got taught by one of my publishers, I have a master's degree in leadership, I have a bachelor's in vocational education, and I've taught high school, I mean, I've just done a lot of different aspects of the world, never mind the real estate community for 20 plus years, and in the insurance industry teaching leadership academies. I mean, there's just so many things. And so my tendency to speak, it can be academic, it can be very non-connective sometimes. And so one of the things I've been told over and over again is, how do I express myself so where I'm inviting somebody into the experience, where I'm not making them feel like there's something wrong with them, where I'm allowing them to give themselves permission. And so one of the biggest feedbacks I've gotten is, because I was so authentic and so unveiled so quickly, it's given many people permission to understand it's okay.
oh,
And
I love
there's
that.
no judgment in the process.
That is very important, though. Yes, a person isn't wrong, or there's nothing wrong with them because they aren't where they want to be yet. They're on the journey to becoming that person that they want to be. And I talk a lot about the hero's journey, as you know, April. And of course, within the hero's journey and our own journey, there are times when we need the help of somebody who's gone before us. And that's just how it is. But people's resistance to getting help is often the thing that keeps them stuck. And they think there's something wrong with them. Well,
Mhm.
absolutely, there is not. And I forget what book it was. I know Oprah Winfrey talks about this as well. It's the question is not what's wrong with me, but what happened to me. And
Well, and how
that's
can I
part
learn
of the
from it?
layers, the layers
Yes.
you talk about, April.
Well,
Mm,
and that's one of the things we purposely did, is we made sure that it doesn't matter where you are, what industry you're in, what stage of the game you're in, how young, how old, any of those things like that. We all have had life happen, and we all have things that are crap. And if we stay in that crap, there's gonna stay crap.
mm,
And when we truly are ready and willing to discover what the fertilizer can bring us into, it gives us the opportunity to be empowered to not only help ourselves, but help others and
mm,
move others forward. That's ultimately what we want to do, is invite people to understand, when they choose to not feel on an island and not feel alone, they can start to see they don't even may not even have to share their story. They may just know the question to ask.
yes. Hmm.
Mhm.
Very, very powerful. So, April, where can people find you and where can they buy the book?
OneLightAcademy.org, they can actually get the bundled package from the publisher directly. They can go to Amazon. It's on Amazon as well, and all the other publishing sites to buy from. It is on Audible, and I'm on most of the social medias. I'm under Living Unlayered on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, etc., and Pinterest. So we've got different videos and a YouTube channel that is under both One Light Ahead, One Light Academy.
Oh,
We've
wow.
got a lot of different options.
I was going to say you've got all the bases covered. So look, really check out April generally, and also become unlayered by the
Thank you.
book and the planner, and just take that step. I really recommend it.
And take the time to meet with Jane. Makes a
Oh, and
difference.
yes, look, write that book. If there's the kernel of an idea there somewhere for you to write a book, absolutely do it, because it can completely transform your life. And
Mhm.
certainly, if you're in the coaching area, in particular, very competitive market, it can put you head and shoulders above the others. So thank you for that plug, April. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.